is a Bramble Jam podcast. It's a Saturday, and my name is Bran. I'm loving Netflix Christmas movie. Yes, I am.
Hi, it's Jax. You can also call me Panda, and I am loving hard on Netflix Christmas movies.
I'm Alonso, and I'm here to say I'm down for Netflix movies through the holidays.
My name is Dan, and it's Saturday. Jax isn't Panda no matter what you say. And this is the Deck the Hallmark Podcast.
Oh, boy.
Boy, oh boy.
God bless America.
I do need to clarify one
God
thing.
bless you.
Who are you right now?
I don't know.
I do need to clarify one thing from the intro.
What's that?
Panda is not, or Jax is not Panda. I wasn't saying that like you'll never be Panda. I wasn't saying that like you won't measure up. I'm saying you're two distinct individuals, and I love both of you. That's what I'm saying.
I took it the latter way, but the fact that you felt like you need to explain it makes me wonder if, in fact, that's the truth.
Well, I saw your reaction when I did it, and I was like, no, not what I'm saying. So I just felt the need to clarify. We're always happy to have Jax on the show.
We are.
I mean, at this point, when we're talking Netflix, it's more likely to see her than me. So
That's
like,
true.
You know,
This is true. You just weaseled your way in.
That's right.
Because
I
you
just
really
said,
wanted to watch Love
I
Hard.
was like, what are you guys doing over there?
Hey
I
guys.
don't have anything going on.
Hey guys, can I join you?
Can I play?
We're going to be covering on Saturdays a Netflix Christmas movie, a new one, which means you won't have to wait until the new year to hear our thoughts on Princess 3 Switch, whatever it's called. So thank God you don't got to wait until 2022 for that. That's coming this holiday season.
Man, we're gonna get 4 of her.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think we've maxed out our Vanessa Hudgens.
And
It
I
depends on
certainly-
if we get a new Vanessa Hudgens character in this movie, I think.
Yeah. I don't know.
Put it out there, you never know.
We should have stopped. We should have switched while we were ahead, I think, or stopped while we were whatever it was. We should have done that. We should have done that. Is what we should have done. Yeah.
But the good news is Jax can finally watch Netflix Christmas movie, which, from what I gather in our conversations, you've never watched a Netflix Christmas movie before.
Love Hard was my first.
Wow. It's the quality jump is so huge, Jax. It would be like the people who like had electricity in their house for the first time. Like just the quality jump alone of what you've had to watch versus what you get to watch is absurd. It just is. So you're welcome to the good side of things.
I have no idea what you mean. I'm still wearing my Hallmark sweater. It's a whole new world for me.
Yep.
It's a whole new world.
Whole new world. We're going to talk about it. Love Hard's the first one. You know, I think we can all agree that name doesn't scream Christmas, and I'm sure we'll get to it. So, but I do want to.
I don't know how you celebrate Christmas, Bran.
But I just want to I just want to promise everyone that it is a Christmas movie.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You could implore there if you'd like.
I'll implore.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to use my one implore.
He's using his implore, everybody.
Guys, back to sound the alarms. It's the
And
implore
a cream.
time. Yeah. Guys, first Saturday out of the gate, and we're excited about it. Do you think Saturdays are going to be better for it?
Great podcast day. A lot of people listen to podcasts.
Everyone
on
loves a
Saturday.
good Saturday.
Yeah. Everyone's
release.
commuting on a Saturday.
That's right. A lot of listens coming in.
It's also a great day to pick up a copy of
I'll Be Home for Christmas movies
wherever
at your
books are
nearest
sold.
bookstore on the interwebs.
Wither.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
Mine's
There you
out of
go.
reach, or I would join you. Oh,
Some
nice.
of us travel with our copy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, you just never know. You never know when you're going to need to.
I was
see
hoping
what
it was
boys
in
think.
the hotel room, like next to the
Like
Gideon
a Bible? Yeah, they're exactly there. Absolutely.
That was actually something we fought for. We said, guys,
tried to
less
negotiate for
Bibles,
that, but-
more I'll be home for Christmas movies.
I'd feel great about the royalties if we were like the Gideon Bible. Like I'd feel really good about our chances there.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's good. It's a good book. It's a good book.
It's the good. They call it the good book for a reason. The Bible. Our book's
Yes,
okay.
Our book's okay. They call the Bible the good book. To be clear.
We're
Do you have
good book.
Do you have a Gideon in your hotel room, Jax?
No, I just have. They're not doing those anymore. They actually have replaced it with "I'll be home for a Christmas
Thank
movie."
great
goodness.
news.
Yeah,
Man, we nailed it. Nice
yeah.
work.
No
Have you heard
Gideon
great
here.
It's great news for us. It's
We
bad
set
news
out
for
4 years ago to subvert the Gideons, and we succeeded. That's good. Mission accomplished,
Yeah.
everybody.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
They call us the Gideons of Christmas.
I'd
Do
like
they?
to implore you to go ahead and start the synopsis.
You guys want to
Oh,
talk
would
about
you?
Love Hard? Love
Yes.
Hard originally aired on Netflix on November 5th. Is that right?
Yeah. Yesterday.
November
2021.
5th, 2021, and it went a little something like this. Natalie is on a dating app called Flirt Alert. It's not a bad name. Flirt Alert. Flirt Alert. And it's an ordeal. Like, some guys just suck. Some guys are married. Some guys ghost her. She uses these experiences and channels them into her work. She's a writer for some online blog thing. And she goes home, sets up her Christmas tree, gets on Flirt Alert, and expands her location from outside of where she lives to beyond. And she matches with a guy named Josh, who is a hunk. And they have a heated, flirty conversation about Christmas movies. Die Hard, Love Actually, you know the ones. She's falling for him, and even gets a picture of him holding a sign with her name on it, so you know he's real. She's on the phone with him all the time, like all night. They're talking. And he says he wishes that they could spend Christmas together. So she has this crazy idea. I'm going to fly to Lake Placid, New York, so I can meet this fella. Goes to his house, meets his parents and grandma, and they're all very surprised to meet her and to find out that Josh has a girlfriend. Josh then comes up the stairs, and he is not the guy in the pictures. He's just like this little guy. He's like a little guy. And she beats him with a baby Jesus and leaves, goes to a bar. But crazily enough, the guy from the pictures that she thought was Josh walks into the bar, and she decides, I'm going to go for it. I like his face. I'm going to go for it. So she takes a couple shots at the bar and goes sing some karaoke, which is how everybody gets somebody to notice them. But her face puffs up, and everyone is grossed out by it. And once she sees herself, she runs out and she faints. Luckily, Josh is there and takes her to a vet because the doctor's too far away. And he's like, that guy you saw, his name is Tag. And I can help you. I can set you up with Tag, but you have to agree to be my fake girlfriend through the holiday season, because my parents were very impressed by the fact that I had a girlfriend. And so she agrees. I want to date Tag, so I'll be your fake girlfriend. They have breakfast with his family and then takes her to the family outdoor store to meet Tag. And he's really into rock climbing. And so Josh agrees to teach her how to climb because she has no idea how to do that. She keeps acting like Josh's girlfriend and wants to help him not get bulldozed by his dumb brother, who just like is constantly like, hey, I'm better. Look at me. She rock climbs with Tags, thanks to Josh, crushes it. That night they go caroling, and his brother is really into it. And so Josh decides that he's going to go for it. And he and Natalie sing a consensual version of Baby It's Cold Outside, and it's delightful. The crowd goes wild, which leads him to propose to Natalie to keep the momentum going. And she is kind of forced in this awkward situation, and she says yes. The next day, she goes bobsledding with Tag. She's real into him, despite the fact that they have nothing in common, and she's lying about how into the outdoors she is. But then she bonds with Josh over his love of making candles. She gives him some advice on how to find a girl on Flirt Alert by using his real pictures, because he's a good guy with good eyes, and any guy or girl would be lucky to meet up with that fella. But then they get into a big argument because he's like, you liked me. All the things that I said were really me. And she's like, you were a fiction. She goes on a date with Tag, and he eats steak, and they're just a total opposite, especially since he doesn't celebrate Christmas anymore. Just hasn't done it for a couple years. But they end up kissing. It seems like she's not really into it. Natalie and Josh go to a nursing home to teach them about dating apps. And Josh does a whole lesson about how bad catfishing is. You have to be honest for this whole thing to work. Then they walk into a surprise engagement party, and it's a mess. Tag is there. Her boss flew over to see her and see how the story is coming along. The brother is there who knows that she's dating Tag and wants to expose everything. It's a big mess. She decides to make a speech and come clean about everything, how she's been acting like Josh's girlfriend, pretending to be something that she's not for Tag. Tag calls her a catfish herself, and Josh runs out in embarrassment. She leaves Josh a note that tells him to be true to himself and have a good life. And Josh tells his dad that he wants to sell candles, and he's very supportive about that. She then has to sit down and write an article, and she's having a really hard time doing it, but eventually she writes this whole thing, and she opens up her phone, opens up Flirt Alert, and she sees Josh's real account with real pictures that show off his eyes. And she knows in that moment, I really do like Josh. So she goes and shows up at his house, knocks on the door, and does a Love Actually thing where she does the signs and says how she actually feels. And then says, hey, do you want to go? And then he does he says, yippee-ki-yay type of, it's a whole love Actually Die Hard situation. It's a love hard, you might say.
Get out of town.
You might say. The family's looking on, and they end up kissing as the snow falls. And that, my friends, was Love Hard.
We did it.
We did it.
We didn't time it well.
I didn't time it well that
we
time.
We did it.
Listen,
we did it.
This is what happens when you do live radio.
That's right. It's all live here.
We got Jamie on the call.
Trevor Donovan conversation earlier, and it was live. There's nothing we could do.
There was nothing we could do about that. Hey, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll break this movie down with our
we'll get to Jamie next episode.
We'll get to Jamie. Jamie's on the line. He's always on the line.
Yeah.
We'll be right back here on Dog. Don't mind if I do.
Don't mind if I do. You turned that up in my in-ear here, and it got really
loud.
I
wanted you to hear it.
I appreciate it.
We're back, everybody. We're talking about Love Hard, the Netflix Christmas movie, new to Netflix. Hopefully you watched it already. We're going to talk about it with our 4 segments, the first of which is the hot take. And I'm gonna start with Jax, since you are a resident panda. You're a rising star when it comes to hot takes.
That's right.
So let's see. This is your first Netflix Christmas movie. What did you think of Love Hard?
So yeah, I'm gonna give the most scalding hot take. I'm gonna try and follow in the footsteps of my dear friend Panda. Yeah, I absolutely adored, was mesmerized, thought this movie was freaking magical. It came as no great surprise because it has all the elements that I loved when I was single. I loved online dating. I love the movie Die Hard. Cannot stand the movie Love Actually.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry, that's a hot take. But and I'm all in for a sight gag. And when her face blew up like a balloon, I love karaoke. I love this family. I was super into Josh, which we can get into later in the segments. This movie checked all of my Christmas feel boxes, and I'm all in on Netflix Christmas movies.
Welcome over. Alonso, are you as high as on this movie as Jax is?
I mean, it would be hard to be at that level, but I think Netflix Christmas movies, I think, kind of fall into 3 categories. There's the super prestige ones, like, the Oscar-nominated Klaus and last year's Jingle Jangle. I think Boy Named Christmas falls in that category this year. You have the ones that could basically be Hallmark movies with a slightly larger budget, like your Princess Switches and your Christmas Princes. And then there's this middle tier, which is sort of like, it's Hallmarkish, but it's a little naughty. There's some bad swears and some sexy times. And, last year's was Holiday, which I really liked with Emma Roberts. And this one is not as good as Holiday, but I think still pretty charming. They're trying to do a fake girlfriend and a Cyrano de Bergerac at the same time,
Yes.
which is a lot for one movie to try and do, but it's pulling it off pretty well. I was laughing pretty consistently throughout, and if you just read that Empire magazine piece about Hallmark movies, like the rom-coms are never really comedies in terms of the fact they're never really funny, and this movie is actually funny at times, which I liked. So I didn't super love, but I think it's solid and entertaining, and if you like these kinds of movies where they're a little TV-14, I think you'd be down for this.
Guys. Yeah.
Have you already watched it twice, Bran?
I've thought about it. I love this movie. It just is everything that I could want. I love fake relationships. I do have a soft spot for catfishing. And the ending thing, I know I'm just dumb. I didn't pick up on the fact that Love Hard.
You didn't catch,
but you freaking relax.
Gosh, sometimes it's tough being with
It's tough being me too.
Don't even know.
But I got it at the end when they did the thing, and I was like, this is awesome. The ending of this movie, the signs and the yippee, woo boy, it was awesome. I loved it. I love this movie so much, and I can't wait to watch it again. 2 thumbs up, and in fact, I'm considering getting a 3rd thumb just for this.
It does stick the landing more than most of these movies, I will say, in a very spectacular way.
Yeah. Dan?
Alonso, are you a Love Actually fan or no?
I go back and forth with Love Actually. Like, ultimately, it is a movie about like bosses who fall in love with their employees, so that's kind of skeevy, but it's so charming and it's so like twinkly London. It's kind of hard to resist, even though it's also reprehensible. So it's
Bran doesn't like it either. Jax doesn't like it. I actually really love Love Actually. I think there's
shocking.
There's 2 storylines in it that I think are awful, and then the other 6 or 7 I really enjoy. And so, there's it way more hits than misses. This movie has a lot going for it. The 2 leads are wonderful. The title is unfortunate. I get the bit at the end of this movie. The title doesn't work for me at all. But also, the thing that I realized in this movie is, and you're going to think that I'm crazy, I need to make an apology to a Hallmark movie called It Was Always You. And the reason I need to make that apology is because we spent a lot of time when It Was Always You came out arguing over if what Tyler Hines did in that movie was fair game or was it not cool. She's, a week before her wedding to swoop in and steal this guy's girl. And I realized something watching this movie. We only have those arguments when the movie is good. If the movie's bad, we don't really have those arguments because we don't care enough about the characters, but we cared enough. So clearly It Was Always You, a better movie than I thought it was. I say that to say this. I never could get over the hump where I was just okay with Jimmy Yang and what he did in this movie. They tried to make it. I'm sorry, Jax. I love the movie. He's hysterical. She's great. I want to be very clear because Bran's upset over here too. I want to be clear. This is better than anything Hallmark's ever made. It's really, really funny. I enjoyed it immensely. Would watch it again. But they stack the deck so far against Jimmy Yang and they count on you feeling sympathetic for him because he doesn't look like all the other hunks in all of these movies. What he does, I never feel like they try to weigh the other side of that scale down by trying to give her these things where it's like, you didn't tell him about the article, which was just an excuse to really go out there. You really catfished this other guy, Tag. It never adds up to me. I never, ever feel like there's actually an even playing field here because what he did, in my opinion, is the only thing that is a crime in this movie. And so for me, the guy committed a crime, like a legitimate, I got over it from a standpoint of I loved his family. I loved the character. I'm happy they ended up together, but I never could get fully invested in all the feels because what he was doing, in my opinion, wasn't forgivable for that relationship. That
Okay,
is my
but
one
him,
complaint.
wait. So him being himself but using somebody else's face is worse than her using her face and completely like throwing out everything that she's about for this tag guy between not liking the outdoors, not eating meat, all that stuff.
But wait a minute.
That's
She
worse.
realizes, she realizes that and leaves. But two, and this is important, he doesn't just use his face. Every time they talk, he uses that as the background for everything. So like he's being himself, but he's being himself imbued with the confidence of someone that he's not. He's literally committed identity fraud.
But she
That's
has
what he's
shaped
done.
her personality.
No, so this
she's
is-
shaped
no,
her
what they're-
whole person.
what
No,
they're
I'm not
doing-
going to let you off the
what
hook
they're
here.
doing.
It is.
No, I am not denying what she does is okay. What I'm saying is,
But you're saying what Jimmy Yang did is
what
worse.
she does is something that people do on a regular basis in relationships. They try to find their identity in others, and when they realize they've done it, they leave. I'm not saying it's cool. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying that it happens. It's a part of life. What he does is a crime. What he does may not be philosophically worse, but just legitimately, it is worse. How do you ever have trust in a relationship where you started off by going, this is what I look like, psych, just kidding, that's not even me, it's another guy in town.
I'll tell
I'm
you
sorry.
how you're as delightful as Jimmy Yang is. That's how you get over it.
He used his own name, so it's not really identity
True.
theft.
Wait, I do. Dan, I have to ask, have you ever online dated?
Mm-mm. I met my wife in high school. The online dating was like, those two words never went together.
Sorry, I asked that leading question because I already knew the answer because
Yes,
it's
of
part of
course.
how I'm going to just like prove you totally wrong here.
Boom, 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 boom,
as,
boom. Jax claims Dan's full of crap. She's going to ask a question she already knows the answer to. He's the worst at his job.
No.
Good lawyers only ask questions they know the answers to.
I get what you're saying. And while I don't disagree, this is deception, it's a crime. Here's what I actually thought was quite interesting about Jimmy Yang's character, about Josh, that this is the one thing I want to poke a hole in. I think a lot of guys or women, but we'll say this case, guys in this, who would catfish using someone else's photos, when you met them, would not have that confidence and that banter and that chat. But my goodness gracious, Josh is charming AF, and he does have that banter and chat and confidence. Yes, he's self-deprecating. Yes, there's all that there, but that, dare I say, because I'm allowed to say because it's Netflix now, the sexiness that he had when he was using the photos, he still has, but he only got, do you guys know how hard it is to online date for dudes? He only had 3 matches in 1 year, and then he uses someone else's face, and he's able to have these delightful conversations where this intimacy can happen, real shared true intimacy where he is being himself without any of that nonsense. And he never thought this woman was going to fly across the country because like he tells her, you're low crave for doing that, because she is. So anyway, I'm just completely charmed by Josh. I do appreciate, Dan, that you are looking out, because yes, it is in fact a crime, but I still want to date him.
Well, what's wild, good for you, Jax. What's wild is that not only that, but when she sees him, he then begs her to stay to be his fake girlfriend just because it makes himself look better. Let's not act like Jimmy Yang is just a saint over here. I'm sorry.
Who hasn't tried to
Agreed.
impress their parents, Dan?
And once the nightmare of Harry Shum Jr.
because
as
you
the
have
older
good
brother
parents.
shows up, it totally makes sense.
I didn't hear what Alonso
He
said.
said that when the brother, go ahead.
Once the nightmare of Harry Shum Jr. as the older brother shows up,
great.
It totally makes sense that yes, my parents are actually looking at me with some level of respect, which they never ever do because I live in their basement and I work in my dad's store badly. So I can totally get why he would want to make that trade with her.
Yeah, I'm just saying at the very least, in all of her catfishing of personality, like he ropes her into that too. He's like, hey, I'll teach you how to get this guy. She didn't even know the guy actually existed. Like she never, what she does,
the only good point you've made all day.
Never actually gets to the level of what he's done. And
Yes,
and here's the thing. I still loved the movie. I still had a blast. It was really, really funny. But I cared enough about the characters that it bothered me. That means it's a good movie. That's all I'm saying. Sorry to anger everyone.
No, it made me. I like to get fired up, and what I will say is, I don't always like nice guys, which is probably why I liked Josh. I don't think he is a typical nice guy. I think that's why it works for me. I don't need a nice guy.
Yeah, you should have put that on your online dating profile. Catfish me, but then be awesome.
My tagline for my online dating profile did not age well.
Uh-oh. What was it?
I think I'm allowed to say it. It was before the scandals, and it said, my goal in life is to be stepmom to Louis C.K.'s kids.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Okay.
Guys, it was a different time. We didn't know.
Everybody, she's engaged. It's okay.
I just don't even know how to go.
It all worked out.
That's something. Man. Go ahead, Bran.
I don't even know.
Transition.
I believe we're at all the fields now. Yeah,
we are at all the fields. We're at all the fields. It's part of the show. We talk about what in this movie and not on Jack's profile gave us all the feels. Jax, let's start with you. What gave you those Christmas feels, those feels in general in this movie?
Well, you so wonderfully mentioned it in your synopsis that felt like it was longer than the movie itself. Teasing. No, I'm spicy now that I'm watching Netflix.
You're so spicy.
No, Bran,
it's not my Jax.
I love you guys. The consensual baby it's cold outside gave me all the feels along with the entire family caroling because I loved how spectacularly annoying his older brother was, yet dare I say extremely talented.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was into how performative he was, and I thought Nina was wonderfully glorious in this movie. I thought she was vulnerable, funny, weird, and her BFF gave me all the feels. I want that woman to be my BFF. I want to play that BFF track like she did. I love her. So yeah, this gave me a lot of feels. And of course, the signs at the end, the yippee-ki-yay, the fact that love hard, like Alonso so astutely put it earlier, this really stuck the landing, which I appreciated because a lot of times the rom-coms don't for me. Like I can go on the journey and I can overlook things, but the ending sometimes feels rushed and like there's no button, but this gave me what I needed to wrap it up with the bow.
There you go. I will say, talking about the consensual version of Baby It's Cold Outside, this version was significantly better than the one that came out. What was it? A couple years ago, John Legend and somebody else, and they made it more consensual. That version didn't work for me, but this I thought it was great. I thought it was funny. I thought it was really I loved it. It worked for me.
I just liked in that whole caroling scene where the brother, he says this line, which I wrote down: "Big finish, Grandma, don't mess it up," which I thought was really, really funny. Like got an audible, that line and the line of, "I know you're in there, you mofos. I can see the steam," from the kid who's the paper boy. I got audible laughs from me. But when he says big fit, we've nailed it all the way. Grandma, don't screw it up. I love that line.
Everything about Grandma's great. Alonso, what are you feeling?
Yeah, I'll tell you, this movie, as somebody who, has sort of, as a self-declared Christmas media expert, there are two online conversations that I am completely bored with. One of them is Die Hard a Christmas movie? And the other one is Baby It's Cold Outside, a problematic song or a merely misunderstood song? And I will say that this movie managed to dredge up both of those arguments in a way that was actually kind of funny and entertaining. So kudos for that. I got LA feels, although I also have an LA based wait what, but I liked all the stuff at the beginning of the movie because so often these films are shot in, like Vancouver or whatever. There was a definite sense of place they were laying out. I also really liked the falling in love online montage that that she and Josh have, which is really good. Allergy Face made me laugh. Rebecca Staub, who is a Hallmark, MVP. Great to see her in this. And Nina Dobrev, I know most famous for Vampire Diaries, but Bran, do you know where I know her from?
Tell me.
She was on Degrassi.
Hey,
Degrassi.
Shocking.
Degrassi.
She was single teen mom turned supermodel. It was an amazing arc.
Was that before or after Drake?
I want to say concurrent, maybe.
Oh,
maybe
wow.
maybe
What a
after.
season, man.
What a maybe
what
after.
a year. What a year of
I lose
Degrassi.
track.
Come on, Aubrey. So my feels the conversation when his dad finally smells the candles.
Yes.
And they bond over the grandpa and the smells and him telling his dad what he wants to do. That whole scene not only worked for me, it was the first tier of the season for Bran. That season, that scene made me tear up. I just thought it was beautiful and just well done all around. And the smells, the whole thing about picking out the smells from Grandpa, I just thought was fantastic. So
all factory works. Christmas.
You stole my thunder, Bran.
I'm sorry, pal.
That's my feels as well, and it's not particularly close. There are plenty of feels in this movie, but that scene, holy cow, is it a great scene for a number of reasons. I think that there's this generational thing that's really cool about that scene. I also think, I say in the acknowledgments of the book, like, thank you to my parents who have always been proud of me for who I am, not because of what I do. I think that's not an experience a lot of people get growing up. And when he looks at him and he says, you want to make candles? Go make candles. And he just smiles and gives him a hug. Come on. I mean, just come on. It's perfect. It's a perfect scene. I loved every second of it. I didn't care that Jimmy Yang was a criminal. I just loved the fact that the father and the son were having a bonding moment. It was wonderful.
Did you tear up?
I started to a bit. I no tears fell, but it was definitely like
if like the mood was right, like if you were
two eggnogs in.
Yeah.
I thought it was easily the most moving scene in the movie, even more than the end, in my opinion. I thought it was great.
Sometimes tears are all about where you are and what you're doing.
That's true.
For
sure.
And
now that I'm a parent, man, I just tell you, I cry way more now than I did before I was a parent.
I cry.
I
cry once a week.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, easily.
Just like
every time Terry O'Quinn talked in Christmas Sale, you were like, "That's the stuff."
But
I
didn't even tear up.
No, you didn't. But you kept looking like you were about to.
I could have.
Yeah,
I could have. Are you kidding me?
And because I guess movies don't have a smell quotient, they don't really talk very often about how many of our holiday sort of memories and things are tied into that.
Yes.
And so I thought that was a cool way to break that into the story.
Yeah. Hey, let's take one more quick break.
Okay.
And we'll come back and we'll get to the wait what and the what the flicks.
I love it.
Here on the podcast that we're doing.
Man, feels great to be back here on the podcast that we're doing.
I love the podcast that we're doing. I think it's a lot of fun. Let's get to the wait what. It's the part of the show we talk about what in this movie made us go wait what. I'm going to start with you, Jax. Jax, anything stick out to you in this one?
Oh, yes. And I think this goes along with what Dan did so astutely note, which is that Josh is not a blameless dude at all. But I think the biggest offense in this movie was when she was rock climbing. She made it to the top. I'm getting all the feels. It's very romantic. It's a very wonderfully intimate moment they're sharing. And then I was not okay with the fact that he pushed her off. Like, I know he prepped her and said,
I'm also
breathe, and he wanted her to look impressive, but something could have gone wrong. I'm very clumsy. Something could have happened with her limbs in the air. I don't know, but I was terrified. And I thought, Josh, you are a bad boy and not in a fun way.
As someone who's terrified of heights and would never rock climb, basically for a lot of reasons, but namely heights, that is a crime against humanity. Do all the identity theft you want to. That doesn't bother me one bit. Like, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but pushing somebody from a high surface, not okay.
Couldn't agree with you more.
I assumed that the ropes had her taken care of, and that
No, even if it's safe. I'm sure
I appreciated the efficiency with which he acted. Like, I appreciated the efficiency of, I know it's safe. It's going to take forever. She's going to look bad. I don't,
Yeah.
you can't push somebody off that and feel like that's okay. But
you
he
either
knew that was the
coax
only
them
way.
down and it takes half an hour, or you just
That's right.
do it quickly. And she
Yeah.
she gets to look impressive in front of tag, which is what the whole point of this was.
Rip it off like a Band-Aid.
Yeah,
that's right.
No,
There
I'm
you go.
somebody who takes 10 to 15 minutes to try a new food, like to talk myself into trying a new food. So clearly, we're just on different pages here.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Like if you were to just put go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say Bran and I appreciate consent, and that's where we're at with it.
Jax, do you have any more?
Your dating profile doesn't always. I just don't know.
I'm gonna end it there because I will say to Dan, touche, you do win this round.
It's just like, do I make the joke? Do I not make the joke? I'm just caught in between here.
Alonso, what are you waiting and whatting?
Okay, so my LA wait what is they make a point of saying that she lives in West Hollywood, which is where I live.
Yeah.
And then you get the shot of where her apartment is, and it's at the top of a very tall hill, and that is not West Hollywood. West Hollywood is very small. It's all beneath Sunset, and there are no hills here. So that's a bit of a cheat. Also, when they have when she first finds the candle making stuff in his closet, and he talks about how like there aren't any candles marketed to men. Yes, there are.
Yes.
My friend Chris Lavoie has a whole company called Banded that is the whole notion is that it's masculine sense. My Facebook feed on any given day is cluttered with like candles that smell like leather and tobacco and I don't even know what else, like kettlebells, something, so that's a thing that exists in the world.
And Panda Lily Candle Company.
That's right.
Do they make dude candles?
Oh yeah, they do. They smell great. They smell very masculine depending on what scent you get.
I think there's a lot of different options you can get at Panda Lily for sure.
Indeed. So yes. So anyway, they made this movie tries to make it sound like he's invented something, and it's like no, this exists in the world. Yeah. Beyond that, I mean, I just like when he proposes at the caroling, I was like, what? No. But then it works in the plot. So but at the moment, I just thought, oh, now we've gone too far.
Jimmy Yang, above board, like I said, putting her on the spot, proposing, just an above board guy, all the way around. So wonderful dude.
Look, Dan, you want to go back to bringing up Baby and talk about Katharine Hepburn's behavior and bringing up Baby? I mean, like, come on. Yeah, people in these movies do terrible things, and that's part of the joke.
Okay. All right.
I have a couple things. One, I've never online dated either, but you better believe one or two solid conversations and I'm FaceTiming you. Like we are going past phone calls quickly.
Yes.
And so that's astounding to me. Like the picture, sure, wonderful, but there's no way two people of their age online dating don't FaceTime, right? Like
at least have a line like I have a flip phone,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no even like attempts. I just couldn't believe it. Her friend at one point says sometimes blow-ups can be good things, and I don't know. I heard the line and I just wrote it down because I don't know if sometimes blow-ups can be good things. Blow-ups.
Yeah.
Lawn inflatables?
Maybe. Okay. That's a good example.
There you go.
That's a good example.
We're learning right now.
But those are my two what's, and so that's how you know it was a good movie. Dan?
I had several, but nothing like super major. But my first one is less of a wait what, and more I learned something new. The guy that plays tag in this movie, I think his name is Darren Barnett. I could be wrong on that.
That's right.
He plays a part in Never Have I Ever on Netflix, written by Mindy Kaling, which is a show that it's not meant for me, but I adore. I think it's a wonderful show. And he plays a character named Paxton Hall Yoshida, who is in high school. And I saw him in this movie and I went, how old is this guy? Because in this movie, he's playing someone in his like early to mid 30s. And in that show, he's playing someone in high school. And it turns out he's like 31 years old playing a high school character. And he pulls it off by and large, if you've never seen Never Have I Ever. So I just thought that was interesting. His character, though, is a guy who is in a Venn diagram of one, because he's a guy that hunts and likes his steak rare, but also thinks Christmas is a sham, which typically isn't something that goes together. Those two are very, very, very different. I love the kiwi allergy bit that they set up by just hammering you over the head. Like she mentions it like 3 times and you're like, okay, this is going to happen.
Chekhov's kiwi.
How do you not, Chow, that very nicely done. How do you not feel your face ballooning up? How? Like you're in the middle of Meatloaf's I Would Do Anything for Love. How do you not realize I can't see anymore because my cheek is touching my eyelid?
When that song hits, man, you just lose all sense.
There's a lot of
feeling.
lyrics to keep track of.
I just like she has to see herself in the mirror, and I'm like, what? How did it take this long? Like, how do you still think that is an actual thing? We talked about rock climbing. I'm not a rock climber, if you can believe it, Bran. But they do.
Luckily for the rocks, am I right?
The best I can figure is they do rock climbing a huge disservice in this movie to basically show someone who's never rock climbed in her life and then show up and just do it right the first time, even with help after 12 hours. I just can't imagine people who rock climb at home.
I mean, I can climb stairs.
We're
How hard
watching
can it be?
and going, yeah, that's not helping. But imagine rock climbers at home watching, going, yeah, that's what I do. It's that easy. It's just that easy to do that. I felt like that was a little bit too much. But the biggest one I have is there's a drone shot or some sort of crane shot that's just establishing like it's snowy mountains, and there's someone building a snowman. Except this snowman doesn't have the traditional 3, orb setup, one progressively smaller. It just looks like Jabba the Hutt as a snowman. It's just like this one giant blob with a hat and coals and a carrot. And I was like, someone just got lazy and decided we can't roll up balls for a snowman.
So sometimes if the snow isn't the right snowman making snow, you just kind of have to.
You just need to go back and look. It's this very weird like blob of a thing that they've tried to make a snowman. That was my biggest one. And that's all I got, really.
Still better than Hallmark's fake snowman, though.
Oh, for sure. No. Those styrofoam balls
Those
they
are
use,
tough, man.
for sure.
Those are tough.
Yeah.
Let's get to what the flicks. Part of the show we wonder what could be that would maybe happen, get some clear questions that we still have. Jax, what are you still wondering about this movie?
What am I still wondering? I mean, is it bad to say not much? Like, the thing about this is, like, I do feel, when I said I felt like they wrapped it up in a bow, I do. I don't feel like, as much as I loved it, I don't feel like I need a sequel. I feel like it checked all the boxes for me. I feel like it left me feeling wonderful, warm inside, and frankly, just quite complete.
Wow.
Wow, that's
There you have it.
beautifully said. Alonso?
I mean, I buy them as a couple. My only issue is like she's an LA girl and she's going to be expected to give all that up for Lake Placid. Which
I assumed he was moving with her because he lives in that basement, but that's a good point, Alonso. She better not move.
Can sell a lot more candles in LA, I feel like.
That would make sense. But I have this hunch between grandma and the parents that he's going to want to. I don't know. So I just think like she clearly has no propensity for winter sports, which seems to be all that they do there, let alone the alligators, of course, if we've seen, those movies. So that seems like a lot. Done. And then, of course, finally, did they recycle the cardboard? That's my question.
Oh my gosh.
Did
you get the Lake Placid joke?
No.
Did you get it, Jax?
I didn't, but I didn't expect to.
There's a series of horror movies called Lake Placid about these
Bill Pullman,
Betty White.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Sure.
Yeah, love it.
Oliver
Platt. Even
I don't know much about bobsledding, but is it just a thing you can do? Is it a thing that is it like ice skating where there's open skate time,
open sled?
Like
maybe in Lake Placid when it's just cold all year.
I think if you live in a city where the Winter Olympics have happened, then yes.
Yeah, I just want I think it would be fun. What's the training like? Like how?
Yeah,
you can't just because you can get hurt. Like, have you seen Cool Runnings? So, I think for me, it's like I don't know if it's just something that you can just show up and pay.
But they had the Olympics there, so they have the bobsled ring.
I understand that there would be a bobsled ring. I just want to know, can you be a complete novice and just show up, sign a waiver, and say, throw me down the chute?
Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme, get on up. It's bobsled.
That's exactly
time.
right.
Yeah,
Kiss
yeah,
my
yeah.
lucky egg,
I bet when you're tag, you know somebody. And
That's
you,
right.
you have a-
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Because he didn't go in through the entrance. They just showed up at the side of the bobsled.
Yeah, that's right.
ring. It's Bob. We went through the mountains to get to the bobsled.
Yeah.
You suckers parked in the parking lot.
Losers.
Yeah.
Gosh, I
That's
love
actually
cool
a pretty good wait. What actually? Why did they not just drive to the bobsled slopes?
Yeah, what do you call it? Bobsled,
The sleddings, the sled,
slide?
shoot the slide.
Yeah, let's go with shoot. I don't have a lot. There is a joke in this movie where they stayed on the phone all night, and he said it's a good thing I have the Verizon Unlimited plan. And like, I just want to know if that was supposed to be an actual like reference to like a company, because like unlimited talk has been on every plan for like a decade. So like, was the joke the fact that he was telling a joke? Was Jimmy Yang's character telling a joke, or were they trying to slip in a Verizon product placement there?
Well, he says I should have gotten, or I wish I had, or something like that. So
this guy in 2021 doesn't have unlimited talk in the United States. What is he Amish? Like, how is that possible?
He's still hanging on to that Sprint account. You know,
that's right. Yeah, pay by the minute. I just can't imagine like not having unlimited. Who talks on the phone anymore? I can't imagine that not being included in every. Verizon still ripping people off with not unlimited talk. How's that possible?
It's a great question.
What a loser. No wonder he wanted a different picture up there.
Can I actually ask you guys a quick question? Because I just thought of something that did concern me. When the BFF was on the phone and she was pouring all that liquor into a mug and she said her sponsor was trying to call, was anyone legitimately worried for her? I was like, I'm actually kind of worried. She's really funny, but I'm kind of worried for her. Was anyone nervous?
Maybe she has a sponsor for a sex addiction, but she's allowed to drink.
Okay, yeah. I feel better. Thank you.
Somebody
I'm okay with that.
Her in like a fun run or something, like raising money for like ALS, and she's supposed to go and do the laps, and they're just making sure she's still good for it.
She's actually just really into cocaine, and
I'm feeling good again now. I'm okay with it all. Thank you for making me feel warm inside again. I can sleep now.
We did, everybody. Congratulations. First Netflix in the hat. Our next week we'll be back with Father Christmas is back, which drops tomorrow on Netflix. So a good weekend of Christmas movies for Netflix.
Tell me about it.
And we'll be back on Monday with I don't know, whatever Hallmark movie. I can't keep track at this point.
Oh, and
but all I know is that
if you're Netflixing, do check out The Klaus Family. It's a lot of fun.
That dropped on earlier this week. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a foreign flick, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Belgian Dutch. You can watch it. There's an English dub. I watched it with the subtitles.
Of course,
that way. But it's really charming, and it's a nice little family movie.
I'll check out the English dub and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Until next time, may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast. It's presented by Philo TV. It's produced by Brandon Gray and recorded live in Greenville, South Carolina. Set decor is by Plum at Haywood Mall. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on Bramble Jam Podcast Network, you can go to bramblejampodcast.com.